Theatrophone audio drama. Iota 12.
Everything looks good. You comfortable?
You kidding?
Have you had an MRI before?
Yes, on my knee. Mixed martial arts injury.
Really?
God, no. One of those guys could tear me in half. Sorry. Getting it out of my system while I can.
I'll bet you know the basics from Dr. Lee. This functional MRI is similar to the imaging you would get on an injury.
Except you'll be reading my mind. There won't be any physical feedback on my responses?
Feedback?
Like electric shocks?
Oh my God, no. I don't think I could work here if we did that. Would you get in there if we were going to shock you?
It would take some doing. You might be able to talk me into it.
Dr. Lee isn't considering an experiment like that.
No. I've just seen too many movies. Jill tends to talk more about the bureaucratic aspects of her career than the mechanics.
She's a rock star at cutting through BS policies.
She's a rock star in the world-famous neuroscience department. Of course, she gets what she wants.
Could you move your arm out a little? Like, there. Good. I steer clear of bureaucracy. She hasn't mentioned staffing adjustments lately, has she?
No. Are you looking for a different shift? Or afraid you'll get one?
Neither. Just curious, I guess. Sometimes the techs are the last to find out.
That's university life for you. For what it's worth, the econ department's also the last to know anything.
One last electrode. There.
So now you can see my thoughts in real time?
We get basic maps of blood flow in the control room. The researchers see more detailed imagery later. You ready?
I guess.
How are you doing in there?
Good thing I'm not really into MMA. There isn't room in here for upper body strength.
Molecular and magnetic analysis?
Mixed martial arts. How many buff hospital administrators do you know?
I'm afraid you've lost me.
The upper body? Never mind.
We're just about set up. One quick sweep. Okay, looks good. For the control questions, just remember to breathe normally, keeping your head still. Answer yes or no. First control. Is your name Christopher?
Yes.
Good. Second control. Are you a professor?
God. Yes?
Okay.
Jill said I'm a professor?
Is it false?
I'm an economist working at a university. I'm not tenured, not even close. I'm not even teaching this semester. Just research. I just isolated the effects of sugar consumption on the average household income. Maybe Jill showed you the Washington Post article? The results were surprising.
It says the second control had a 96% correlation with your other truthful statements. We can keep it.
I guess we can't argue with 96%. Still, I keep thinking about the machine analyzing everything, which makes me think about how I'm thinking, and then about how I'm thinking about thinking about thinking. Does this test work if you're doing that?
Do you talk a lot when you're nervous?
No?
Because it seems that...
Yes. Okay, yes. I guess I do. I talk when I'm nervous. Like I am now. Can you see that on your screen?
It's important to relax.
Have you ever been in here?
No. If you need to take a break...
I'm fine. Sorry.
It's okay, Mr. Morris. Don't overthink it. Just go with yes or no.
How much of this will... Is Jill getting the full transcript of what we say between the questions? It's just she's got this thing about always telling the truth, social norms be damned. You've met her. And if she thinks I'm lying, see my problem?
Our subjects average a few lies every 5 minutes.
Yeah, Jill thinks my average is higher, which is probably why I'm in here. A recent study, published in a psychology journal, so grain of salt, it correlates relationship happiness not with how the subjects rank their partner on various traits, or what we would call utility, but on the difference between how they rank their partner and themselves. We are attracted to people we believe are better than us. Jill is much better than me at not lying, so it's the thing she fixates on.
Well, now I'm going to ask you to lie for the second half of the control. I want you to answer yes to the next 2 questions so that we can see your falsehood response. Control 3. Are you a professional masseuse?
Swedish and shiatsu, yes.
Just yes or no, please. Okay. Control 4. Are you a billionaire?
Yes.
Good.
Billionaire masseuse. Feeling very inadequate here.
That's the last of the false controls. Now just answer as truthfully as you can, using yes or no. Alpha 1. Are you completely honest in your daily interactions?
No, because of being polite, that sort of thing. I'm not a pathological liar or anything. Can you make a note of that?
Don't worry, nobody's a yes for that one. Well, some people lie about it, even though they know we'll see it's a lie. Which is funny.
Jill wrote that question, didn't she?
I'm just the MRI tech. I read what they give me. Okay, Alpha 2. Have you ever cheated on an important exam or standardized test?
These are not the questions you usually read for the study, are they? Never mind, I'll answer. Not everyone who scores higher than you on the GREs has cheated, Jill.
You are the worst subject we've ever had, and we've had criminals in here.
God damn it.
I had no intention of listening in. I was definitely not going to leave my office until I knew you were out of the building.
You just accused me of cheating my way into Harvard. At my place of employment. That's twisted.
97% true.
Annette, please. It was closer to 96.
Does it matter?
96. Sorry. This is just too weird.
Hang on, I know it's unorthodox.
We can't use him for the study if he gets different.
Don't worry, we'll exclude subject 437 from the dataset.
But we can't.
Like I said, hang on. Chris, this is your opportunity to come clean about everything.
There is no everything.
I've shown you the studies that directly correlate truthfulness with happiness. Our fMRI will help you get whatever it is off your chest.
Little white lies are a part of functioning in human society. And you're completely off base. Nothing happened in New York.
Inconclusive.
Stop doing that.
Something changed at that conference.
I could just slide off this gurney.
Don't slide off. You'll get hurt. Let me help you out. Please don't report us to the IRB.
Don't worry. I don't want to report you to the review board.
65% correlation?
That's still mostly true. Part of me really wants to report you, though, Jill.
You're doing that thing a guy does when he wants to break up, but doesn't want to be the one who breaks up. You've been doing it since you got back from that conference.
That's not a thing guys do.
Bullshit. 23%.
You're right. As I said it, I realized probably yes, some people do that. So literally, my statement was false, but that doesn't mean I'm doing that thing right now.
You and your semantics. That I'm not playing along. We're not continuing like this.
With me stuck inside 2001 here? Damn straight I'm not.
With you completely withdrawn and critical of my every move. Feeling no inclination to tell me the truth? Jesus! You are inside a foolproof lie detector and you still do it. It's like a compulsion.
Foolproof is debatable. We have different ideas of the truth. Yours involves blurting out the first thing that comes to mind. Mine requires reflection and analysis, a bigger picture. And there's no point in announcing the results prematurely.
So, you won't tell me what's going on because you don't understand it yet.
Nothing is going on!
But you have a hypothesis. What do you think might be going on? When do you expect results? Surely you discuss these things with your co-authors.
Yeah, I do. Problem is, you're not the co-author.
I'm the subject?
No, I'm the subject.
Well, then I should definitely be the co-author.
Not on this one.
Oh my god. You're gay.
No! I'm an economic actor, making a simple decision with a complicated equation. That was true, right?
You said it because it doesn't mean anything and therefore can't be false.
Nonsense reads true on your test?
Of course not. That would be worthless.
And you don't become the darling of the #1 neuroscience program in the country and probably the world by designing bogus tests.
Darling?
Don't worry. It's a compliment. We all want to be the darling.
Are you sneering in there?
You're monitoring my every neuron. You tell me. Look, you think you want absolute honesty, but when a person is frank with you, you get defensive and mean.
That's not true.
What about the Mont Blanc pen?
You don't return your wedding gift from your wife.
The left turn onto 4th Street.
That wasn't being honest. That was you being a jerk.
It's always me.
Those were isolated incidents. When you get used to it, being habitually truthful feels good, like eating kale.
You had to bring kale into it? Okay, you win. You do know what's best. Can I get out now?
After you tell me what's going on.
I already have.
You dodged the question.
Why don't you get in here and show me how it's done?
You really think I'd have a problem in there?
I think you haven't been on this side yet.
What if I go at the same time? We can control both fMRIs from this booth.
In theory, yes, but I really don't think that...
You can patch in room B, right?
Technically, it's just a few switches.
I keep telling Ron you're the best MRI tech we've got. I realize this would be a big favor. We'd come out of this with a secret, which is uncomfortable and honestly incongruous with my moral framework. But Chris and I have to try this. He's on board, right, Chris?
I'd be down for 20 questions and won't chase anybody down through the review board. You can see that's true, right?
He's good.
But if anyone asks...
If anyone asks, I take full responsibility for this unorthodox experiment.
But you're not doing an experiment.
Sure I am. Self-experimentation is a widely acknowledged practice in medical research.
It's a total Nobel Prize winner move.
In Victorian times, maybe.
Barry Marshall, Nobel Prize, 2005. Swallowed a petri dish of H. pylori and published the results. It's more common than you think. And ethical. As a researcher, my informed consent is more informed than most.
So this is an experiment.
Yes. Now, since this is such a big favor, what can I do to help you in exchange?
4-day work week.
Part-time?
No, it's full-time. You work Monday through Thursday, 10 hours a day, or Tuesday through Friday. I don't care which. The techs in SHC moved to 4-day work weeks, and I want to either get that schedule here or get a transfer.
You have a long commute?
My family has a cabin on Round Lake.
Done.
You can make it happen?
Well, if Ernie doesn't want to, we might be stuck, but I can certainly get you into SHC.
Okay, thanks.
Here's how it works. We alternate questions.
Misery loves company, Jill. Get in the other tube and I'll answer anything.
Strap me in, Annette.
Control 4. Are you a billionaire?
Yes.
What if you actually do get a billionaire in here?
In Rochester?
Those aren't our standard controls.
So my test was rigged from the start.
I get the first question.
Fine.
Kappa 1. Who do you write to when you get up in the middle of the night?
Isn't this supposed to be a yes or no question?
We get decent readings on freeform answers, but okay. Kappa 1. When you get up in the middle of the night, are you emailing, texting, or otherwise communicating with another woman?
No.
98% correlation with truth.
Iota 1.
Iota.
Since there's no J in Greek, for Jill. Kappa Christopher, Iota Jill.
Kappa designates the statistical model that should be used to analyze your answers.
Well, I'm still calling yours Iota.
You thought I named an interrogation sequence after you?
I didn't know a Kappa sequence was a thing. This whole process seems a bit freestyle from my end.
The Kappa model is anything but freestyle.
Iota 1. Had you already given Annette my special questions before I got in this tube?
Yes.
95%.
And you don't think that's lying?
Kappa 2. Why did you start working out?
To be healthier? Are we doing yes or no or not?
Do you want the result on that?
Throw that one out. Kappa 2. On Thursday, December 15th, did you actually go to the library like you claimed?
Yes.
97%. Tell you what, if anything dips below 85%, I'll let you know. Otherwise, you two can just fire away.
Tell me if it dips below 87.
Okay.
Iota 2. Did you use deception to get me into this machine?
Yes.
And another word for deception is...
Kappa 3. Did you also meet up with someone that night?
Yes. John met me there to give me the USB stick.
That's not what I'm asking.
It's what you asked. Iota 3. Given that a deception is a lie and you have deceived me, are you therefore a liar?
Fine, yes.
Just like the rest of us.
Kappa 4. On December 15th, did you break our marriage vows?
No.
It's not resolving.
I'm trying to remember all the vows.
I'll rephrase. Kappa 4. The week I was at UCLA, did you have sex with anyone?
No. Do you even know how to play 20 questions?
Yes, and that counts as a question.
You have to start wide and narrow it down.
You're trying to steer me away from something.
You don't want to use up all your questions and still be sure I'm guilty of something you forgot to cover.
You got the next question, Jill.
Are there things you don't want me to find out? Kappa 5.
Now that's too broad.
Answer it.
Well...
You can't lie.
Yes, okay, there are.
I knew it.
But you're imagining some extramarital affair, and that's completely off base. Stuff I don't want to say includes, you know that green dress you like so much with the black pattern? It does make you look fat.
No, it doesn't. I can see myself in a mirror. That dress is fine.
Not from all angles.
That's completely trivial.
And kind of mean.
It's what she asked.
And you're hiding something else. Something big.
Iota 5. Is there anything you don't want me to find out?
Not really.
Dr. Lee, 63%.
You just lied about lying.
Your point is made. Kappa 6, are you currently infatuated with another woman?
No.
That's true.
Look, this tube is getting tighter every minute. How about we speed this up? Kappa 7, have I ever cheated on you? No.
That did read true.
It doesn't count if I don't ask it.
So ask it, Jill, and let me out of here. Stop dancing around it.
You want to hear the questions I'm afraid to ask? Kappa 7.
Yes, obviously, if we're going to get anywhere.
That's only a 57%.
It's still more true than false.
Do you love me? Kappa 8.
I didn't get my Iota 7.
Just fucking answer it.
What is your definition of love? For the purposes of this question.
Are you kidding me?
Are you talking about agape? Do I worship you as a god? That would be wildly inappropriate, don't you think?
You're dodging the question.
I'm defining it.
I'm not asking about brotherly love either. Look, you were in love with me when we got married. I know it. Do you still feel that?
Nervous, giddy, early-stage infatuation probably isn't a realistic expectation after 7 years. Or maybe you mean eros? Physical attraction?
Yes, go with Eros, Kappa 8.
Empirically, you're more attractive than most of the women in my world.
What's that supposed to mean?
I'm being precise, because I really don't want to overstep and get a false on this.
Annette?
Optimistically, he's saying you're more attractive than the average grad student in his lab.
He doesn't have a lab. You still haven't answered the question. I'll make it simple. Am I hot or not? Kappa 8.
In these circumstances, no.
93% correlation.
Iota 7. Realistically, as you get older, are you likely to become even more controlling and, well, harsh than you are now? Or are you foreseeing a mellowing out sometime in the near future?
What kind of question is that?
The one I really want to have answered right now.
You can't read something like that. That was just a backhanded... Well, there was no compliment in there. That was out of line.
Fine. No crystal ball in the truth machine. Iota 8. Are you familiar with the mate retention study that I mentioned to Annette earlier? The paper's out of UT Austin, I believe.
No, I'm not. Did you really just say you don't love me?
I just said I don't get turned on by being strapped to a gurney and having my brain scanned while you accuse me of an affair I've never had. And that's your Kappa 9.
But I asked if you love me.
Iota 9. I'm guessing you heard the gist earlier. It's not a pure utility measure, but the gap between our estimated measure of ourselves and our partners that determines satisfaction with a mate.
You're doing that Q&A thing where some guy takes the mic and then goes on forever on these tangents before coming to anything even resembling a question.
You need the background. Iota 9. I have no doubt you've modeled the ways in which I don't live up to your standards, but can you name one area in which you don't live up to mine?
Yes.
So?
I answered your question. Kappa 10, do you still want to be married?
I don't know what to say to that.
Sorry, Mr. Morris, that was only 24% true.
Looks like you do think you know what to say, actually. So out with it.
Okay. Maybe you're doing me a favor, showing me just how nuts you really are.
That's not an answer.
I'm still working it out.
Yes or no?
Fine. This is insane. But I'll tell you what I can. I've had the wrong model of our relationship all along. People told me you were lucky to have me, but I didn't completely believe it until now. I'm not lying, am I, Annette?
No, 94%.
I know your jerk friends hate me.
One of your own bridesmaids pulled me aside during the reception and gave me the number of an attorney who specializes in annulments.
Kappa 11, it was Denise, wasn't it?
I am not answering that. Point is, all along I felt like I was this lucky dweeb who somehow convinced this attractive woman to marry me.
And this relates to the conference at Columbia how?
I read the mate retention study there, and I realized I had been manufacturing my own happiness this whole time. But an unbiased look at the facts shows you're the one who got lucky. I'm not a dweeb anymore. I've become a catch, at least for some definitions of catch. The question changed from, is this worth enduring in order to be in a relationship, to, is this worth enduring in order to maintain my relationship with you? That's a different equation.
I am not an equation.
But love is. You do the same thing. You just call them deal breakers. That's the whole premise of my being in here, right?
You start to get a little traction with your career and you figure you can trade up? Nobody cares if you were featured on the Freakonomics podcast.
I disagree. An outward sign of success like that is exactly the sort of indicator that appeals to a woman who responds to status signals, which is most women.
You're confusing quantity with quality.
The Austin paper had a second trial, in which they factored in availability of other potential mates with higher utility measures.
It's one study from a psychologist at the University of Texas.
Sometimes talented people end up in third-tier programs. for personal reasons.
Oh, hell.
Anyhow, it's a study that makes sense. The basic premise applies to you too. All the fixing you've tried on me, buying me cooler glasses, pushing me into Toastmasters, the invisible braces, those have all been efforts to increase my catchiness. And when I did them, I became less undesirable in your eyes. Iota 11. Can you refute any of that?
I wouldn't refute it, but none of that was solely for my benefit. Cosmetic improvements have an impact on nearly all our daily interactions, career opportunities. Oh. Are you having a personal crisis or a professional one? Cap 12.
They're kind of the same when you live in the middle of nowhere because that's where your rock star spouse got a rock star job.
We agreed.
Even if I landed in an Ivy, it wouldn't compare to what you've got here. Jesus, they've built your dream lab and I can't get my department to shell out for decent pens.
I got every cent of this funding myself.
You know how to work the machine, and you're brilliant at the game. You're brilliant in general, but that doesn't make me third-tier adjunct material.
But you're making it work. Your sugar paper
Would have been published a year ago if I'd got the support of a real econ department behind me. Or better yet, something else.
What else is there?
Consulting firms? Think tanks?
What sort of think tanks in Minneapolis?
None.
Oh. You don't want to be a policy wonk, a corporate shill?
I'm sure as hell not a professor.
Ready for Iota 12? Are you done?
We're not done. He can weasel out of answers for hours.
What else do you want to know if he won't or can't say he loves you?
He is very argumentative.
This is your normal?
He likes debates, winning them.
This is her normal.
He also loves tossing in the unnecessary digs.
And that's okay?
Interesting question.
You don't want to admit it's fine, do you?
I don't know the answer.
Some things just don't fit your Kappa model.
No.
See what I'm saying?
No, the answer is no. None of this is okay. You never consider that your thought experiment itself causes damage.
The damage was negligible when I was weighing the options on my own.
You're obsessing over a moot question. Say we decouple and recouple with slightly more suited partners. I find someone who appreciates the lamb korma at Shalimar and can make it through an art museum without checking his email every 3 minutes. You find... I don't even know, but you find her. Best realistic scenario here. We're both happier in the end. Marginally. At the cost of years of turmoil and heartbreak. That's a net loss.
Sticking me in here and forcing me to talk about this is probably bringing the net loss on faster.
Dragging the process out would deepen the net loss. And the immediate damage wasn't negligible. Not to me.
What's less shocking after you've been thinking about it for a few weeks? I've been modeling this longer than you have.
Maybe I can explain this in your terms. You're running around the stock exchange yelling, "Sell, sell!" How little value you place on our relationship is making me reevaluate its actual worth.
There is no such thing as actual worth, but very funny.
I'm not being funny. I'm going to need some time to think on this. But your mental models are based on garbage.
Really? Did she mean that, Annette?
Now you want to hear from the machine?
I meant it.
I'm just saying our breaking up would be not entirely good. Maybe not even the right decision, but not entirely bad either.
That's crap. My getting run over by a bus wouldn't be entirely bad for people waiting for organ transplants.
If you get run over by a bus, how much is left for...
Does it matter? The point is your statement was meaningless.
I was trying not to be a jerk, okay? I didn't want to upset you over something that doesn't exist yet. The secrecy was not about me maximizing my self-interest.
You can't help but maximize your self-interest. You're an economist.
Well, that's all humans. The maximization of self-interest. Economists just observe it and model it. That doesn't mean we're better at it.
So, now that I see myself as an economic actor, I need to evaluate my preferences. That's how it works, right?
I get it. You're using my own logic on me. And now I'm supposed to panic over whether or not you love me?
Please, don't.
This is what you're doing, right? You're creating scarcity. You're not actually questioning our entire relationship just because I did. Iota 12.
That's not a question.
Are you trying to scare me?
Trying? I'm just thinking.
That's not a real answer. Annette?
I'll let it stand. It came through as true.
We may be done in here. Annette, are you ready to run the script?
Wait. Don't you want to know more? You've got 8 more questions.
Now that we're both reevaluating the return on investment in this relationship, we have models to build. Separately. Unless you need more information for your model, we're wasting time in here.
There's no way you can build an accurate model based off the random questions you asked me.
But I learned that we are building models. That's pretty valuable. That's a successful experiment, learning what questions to ask.
So ask them while we're still in here.
I need to ask myself the questions. There's nothing I want to ask you right now.
Ask me about the lamb korma. I really do like it.
You don't mind it. That's not the same.
Seriously, ask.
No, the point was that the lamb was trivial.
So ask me about the think tank.
The think tank is your business. I'm not considering a move based on who they might be or what they might offer.
But you've got to help me decide.
Honestly, I've never considered that you might want to be a policy shill. I'm not sure how that factors into my preferences, but I have a hunch.
Don't let this spiral out of control.
Out of your control, you mean?
So I'm screwed for even considering it? You can't divorce me for a thought crime. That's not what's happening, right? Right?
Iota 12 was written by Jen Kollmer and produced by Jen Kollmer and Alisha Lumea. Karl Schackne plays Christopher, Genevieve Perdue plays Jill, and Tess Middlebrook plays Annette.